me this morning. Let's talk about emotions this morning. You might give me a definition of what you think emotions are. We all have them, you know. What do you think a good definition of emotions?
An outward expression of inner feeling.
Okay. Anybody else? And everybody's got emotions. I don't know if you remember the program Star Trek back in the 70s. There was a guy on there called Spock, and the guy didn't have no emotions whatsoever. Everybody else would be running around, or something happened, he just, you know, didn't nothing bothered him. So, you know, but everybody's got emotions. And, there was a big spider here in the walls or crawling around. Everybody would react different, wouldn't they? The women, I guess most women are afraid of spiders, so they'd probably be screaming and hollering or leaving the sanctuary. The men, they wouldn't faze them a bit, I guess. I'm not afraid of spiders. So anyway, but you know, the word emotion is not in the Bible. But there are words that refer to our emotions that are in the Bible. Anger is mentioned 270 times in the Bible. Joy is mentioned 242 times. Grief 35 times, and the word mourn 138 times. So, you know, the Bible does talk about emotions, even though the word emotions is not there. There's a book out called Anatomy of an Epidemic by Robert Whitaker. And in this book, he describes the fact that in the United States we have a huge increase in the number of emotionally impaired people, which began with the development of drugs to treat mental problems. His thesis is that using the current drugs is like throwing rocks into a sophisticated machine. Drugs simply make the problem worse, whether or not science has the answer. He doesn't say. You know, there are a lot of people in the mental wards that have emotional problems. I'm not here to condemn them. You know, a lot of them are what they consider chemically imbalanced. You know, there's a lady back home in Goshen. She has to take some kind of medication because there's some kind of chemical that she doesn't have in her body. If she don't take this medicine, she just goes, she gets depressed, you know. You know, she asked the Lord to heal her, but He hasn't, so she has to depend on this medication. So, you know, there are a lot of people in the mental institution today that they're emotionally unstable because either something's happened to them in their lives or, you know, whatever. You know, but like I said before, we all have emotions. You know, God cares about our emotions. He cares about everything in our life. Somebody turn to Psalms 34 and verse 18. And somebody else turn to Isaiah 61, 6. But can you imagine a life without emotions? Have you ever been around somebody that they don't hardly ever show no emotion whatsoever? You say, well, what's wrong with this person? Because like I said before, everybody reacts different. But you know, God cares about our emotions. He cares about everything that goes on in our life. Somebody find Psalms 34:18.
The Lord is love, them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of contrite spirit.
Okay, now what about Isaiah 61 and verse 1?
The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
So right there, just those two verses shows that God cares about our emotions. Let me ask you a question, it's probably a pretty easy answer. Does God have emotions? Now, I know there's people out there that, wow, God don't have no emotion. Does God have emotions?
Yes.
What kind of emotions does God, since we're created in the image of God, therefore I believe that God has the same
Right.
emotions that we do.
Right.
Somebody turn to Exodus 4:14. And somebody else turn to 1 Chronicles 29, verse 17. These two verses will show you that God truly has emotions. Exodus 4, verse 14, 1 Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 17. Somebody like to read Exodus 4?
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. He said, "Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart."
So God can get angry. There's nothing wrong. Now let me ask you a question before I go any further. Are emotions good or bad? Pardon me?
They can be both.
How is that, Sister Dee?
Well, some people use their anger evilly. God said we're not supposed to let the sun go down on our wrath. We're supposed to make up. But then, same way with jealousy. Some people get so jealous, they're willing to kill. But other ones try to overcome it with God's help.
So emotions can be either good or evil. It depends how you react to different situations, in life. Kids don't have hardly any control over their emotions at all. You ever seen a kid throw a temper tantrum?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they just, I heard boys that day, some kid must have been about 5. He wanted something, his mother said no. He just started jumping up and down, screaming, hollering. He was throwing a temper tantrum. He had no control over his emotions, and that's just the way kids are. Kids will just tell you what they think, and it's a shame, some adults,
Same way.
Yes.
some adults never learn to control their emotions, Mother Seville's been talking about guardrails. Well, you should put a guard on your emotions. When something happens, and sometimes things happen and we just spout off, say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. We don't ever think before we act. And sometimes our emotions will get us in trouble, more than once.
Oh, yeah.
So when things, we're all right when everything's going our way and there's no bumps in the road, but as soon as a bump comes in the road in life, there goes our emotions. We go off the deep end, So, when things happen that are unpleasant, that are bad, we need to think of ourselves and control our emotions, So, God is a God of anger,
Yes.
Who's got 1 Chronicles 29:17?
I know also, my God, that thou triest the heart and hast pleasure in uprightness. As for me, in the uprightness of mine heart, I have willingly offered all these things, and now have I seen with joy thy people which are present here, to offer willingly unto thee.
So God is a God of pleasure too.
Yes.
Not only that, God is a God of joy. I believe God laughs. I believe God can cry. If we're made in His image, He has. I would say He has all the emotions that we have. I don't think God ever gets. God don't worry. God don't get. I wouldn't say God gets discouraged. God don't get depressed. So there's probably some emotions that God don't have that we have. Expressing our emotions is healthy. if you remember the story of Job, when he lost everything, there he was sitting there by himself, and along came his two friends, and his friends didn't say nothing to him. But can you imagine the emotions that were going through his mind? You ever get the Job syndrome? How many people have had the Job syndrome in their life? You know what the Job syndrome is? Woe is me, nothing goes right. Why has this got to happen to me? I imagine Job was sitting there, the Bible won't say, but I wonder if Job was thinking to God, well, how come me? I mean, I'm a righteous man, you know, doing the best I can. You know, I've lost almost everything, except my wife. And his wife said, well, you need to curse God and die. But can you imagine what Job was saying to God? You know, God never criticized Job for his emotions. And so many times we, and I guess more than men and women, you know, women, sad to say, or not sad to say, but are more emotional than men are. That's just a fact of life. Men, they tend to regress everything, hold everything in, you know. And that's why probably men die younger than women, because they don't show their emotions like a woman does. Men, they just hold everything until they just explode or have a heart attack or, you know, whatever. But a woman, she'll just, least little thing, she'll just go off and cry, you know, and nothing wrong with that. And, you know, we teach our boys, but you're not supposed to cry because that's being sissified. But, you know, that's not right. You know, you have to express your emotions. You know, don't hold your emotions in. You know, because it's unhealthy, not only spiritually, but physically. You know, I remember when my wife died, there were all these emotions in front of me because, you know, I said, no, I was kind of like Job. I wasn't, you know, so much complaining about it. I said, hey, she just turned 53 and she died. I said, that's not right, God. That's not, you know, I say, well, that ain't fair, God. You know, and so all these emotions came to the surface, and fine, just one day I just had to let it go because, hey, I knew that she went to heaven and there was nothing I could do about it. It is what it is, you know. The fact is, she died, you know. And when terrible things happen to us, all these emotions will come to the surface. We have to deal with it. You know, and there are some people that never learn to deal with their emotions. I remember after she passed away, about 4 months later, they had like a grief seminar at the funeral home, and I just wanted to go to see what it was like. And you know, you'd be surprised the number of people that lost their loved ones. That the one lady said, well, I hate God. I hate him. She lost her husband. Of course, he died an alcoholic, and then she lost her boy to drug overdose. And I don't know if she was a Christian or not, but she hated God. And most of the people in that seminar didn't understand, you know, why did this person die? Why did my wife die? Why did my boy die, or the girl, you know? But you know, without Christ, we can't control our emotions. You know, we can't. So there's people out there that try to drown their emotions, their grief, in drugs, in alcohol, or whatever. But you know, they wake up the next morning and the emotions are still there. They still got to deal with that problem. You know? Without emotions, you would never be able to get saved. Think about it. There are people that sit in the church, and when the pastor gives the altar call, something clicks in their mind, and they say, well, I don't need to get saved today. And they think about it, and they just let it go on. You know, and the more they do that, the more they reject God, the harder it is for that type of person to get saved. Because after a while, they'll get so hard that their emotions won't be pricked by God anymore, and they'll just sit there Sunday after Sunday, year after year, and never repent. I'm picking on you too. What did you feel like when Brother Seville said that you need to get saved? What kind of emotions were you feeling?
I was feeling a lot of sensitivity to the fact, of being honest, knowing that, my life isn't perfect, and knowing that, I don't always make the right choices. But I know, it's good to have people like my grandmother around to actually show me that it's possible, that God is there. You know what I mean? If I was living somewhere where I had no positive people around me, it would be a lot harder.
Now, what about our brother back here? What was going through your mind?
Same as well, and without God in your life, it will have no meaning. I can make my own meaning, but it will never work. It will never work. So, His path is always the best way. It's
Right.
guaranteed.
So we all have to deal with that somewhere in our life. When we all got saved, there was something going through our mind, some type of emotion, And I think a lot of people don't want to get saved, and they know they want to get saved, but they're just afraid what people are going to think about them. Who cares what people are going to think about you? But that's just the way people are. Some people just, like I said, are going to go on and on, pretty soon they'll harden their heart, so their mind so much that God won't deal with them no more. Or God will try to deal with them, but they just kind of shut God out, So when God deals with you, do what God tells you to do. Don't harden your emotions toward you. And there's so much to talk about emotions. Can't get it all in one sitting. How do we control our emotions? Somebody turn to Philippians 4:13. How do we control our emotions? And you got to understand that people who don't know God have a harder time controlling their emotions than a person that is saved, that knows God. Philippians 4:13.
I can do all things through Christ Jesus, which strengthens me.
We can do all things. All things. So when bad things happen to us, just lean on the arm of God. And God will see us through somehow. He may not answer your prayer right now, but God knows where you are this morning. God knows what you're going through. Eventually God will come through, if we just hang on, and not give up. So, God's there. God cares about everything that we go through. God, is not going to leave us nor forsake us. We just got to learn to trust Him, for everything. What emotion do you think is the number one prevalent in most people's life? And we all do it. It's one emotion. We all face it. We all go through it.
Anger?
Anger. Is anger a good or bad emotion? It can be both.
Yeah.
It can be both.
Be angry and sin not.
You can be angry. The Bible says be angry and sin not. Some things just make us frustrated, but then frustration leads to anger. You ever been? How many people have never been angry in their life? Everybody been angry. I imagine Brother Luke's over there. You ever get angry and you can't get a car fixed, or the car keeps messing up? You ever get frustrated?
Lead you to prayer, and all God will help.
That's right.
I used to know a guy, I knew he was a mechanic, I knew he used to know a mechanic. He couldn't get things right, or the bolts, he'd break the bolts off, he'd just start cussing and just throw the wrench. You know, of course, he wasn't saved, but then he'd get angry and cuss at the car. I mean, good grief. Wasn't the car's fault, you know, but that's just the way he was, you know. And sometimes our job, things that happen in our job can make us angry, because, you know, you gotta work around all these different people. And all these people are not like you. You know, you've got some people that are Christians and some people are not, you know. And you got to watch yourself, because, you know, being a Christian, you're going to set the example for the rest of the people, and they're going to watch it and see what happens when you react to different situations. So anger is one of the emotions that we all have to deal with. What about worry? Anybody ever not worry? We all worry, don't we? I heard a man say 99% of the things that we worry about never happen. Never happen. But you know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, do the birds, or they don't worry about what they're going to eat. But we all, there's a difference between being concerned and worry. You ever meet somebody's a worrywart? They worry about everything. Every little thing that they're worried. How many people here worried this morning that they were going to die today? Oh, nobody. Well, you know, we're all going to die. But there are people out there that worry every day, well, maybe today I'm going to die. How ridiculous. Some people are, but you know, that's why some people, they just constantly worry over nothing. But we got to remember that God has everything under control. So why worry? I mean, if we're in a situation, we got to ask ourselves, did I bring this situation on myself? Or did somebody else bring it on myself? Is there anything I can do about it? And if there's nothing we can do about it, we'll just say, okay, God, I just give it to you. Instead of just going to bed worrying over it. You know, there's something in life you can't do nothing about. It is what it is. And so there's no use worrying yourself into. You know, there's people that worry so much they make themselves sick. You know, and emotions can make you physically sick. Believe it or not. Not just spiritually, but physically too. So worry is another thing that we all have to deal with. Anybody else have another emotion that most people have to deal with on a constant basis? Anger, worry, what else?
Anxiety.
What's anxiety? Tell me what anxiety is. Anybody want to help him out?
Probably you're consciously anxious over nothing, or constantly anxious that something's going to happen. Closely related to worry.
Kind of like worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. And we all get anxious at times, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that if we direct it in the right manner, you know. You know, it's like I said, you know, all emotions, since the Bible said, are good and they can be bad. And it depends how you direct them when the certain situation arises in your life. But how do you react to different situations? You know, if it's good or if it's bad. What's another emotion that we have to deal with in our lives that most people have to deal with? A lot of emotions out there. Fear. Anybody ever, you know, there's a what I call a godly fear and a non-godly fear, you know. Most people, if you're driving down the road, there's a car coming, head on, you're gonna panic and try to get out of the way. Fear is gonna rise up inside you, and you're gonna do something about it. If you're sleeping at night and you hear somebody trying to get in your house, what's your first reaction? Fear, isn't it? Most people are gonna say, somebody's trying to get in my house. You know, the fear is gonna rise up within you. But then there's that, I call it the ungodly fear. You know, in the demonic world, there's a lady back in Indiana that studied on demons, and she said the demon of fear is one of the worst demons that you have to deal with. And there was a lady that had come to her house and said, well, I want to see the demon of fear. And she said, no, you don't. The lady said, yes, I do. And so that night, that woman, she went to sleep, and the other lady went upstairs to lay down, and the demon of fear came to this woman, and she almost died. She almost died. So there is a natural fear, which I call, they're afraid of everything, fearful of everything. It's like they're tormented by an evil spirit. They're afraid of everything, you know. So there's a natural fear and a non-natural fear, you know. And there's nothing wrong with Christians being afraid or fear, you know, because sometimes your emotions keep you out of trouble, you know. So, anybody have another emotion that we have to deal with?
I would say depression.
Pardon me?
Depression.
Wow. What is depression?
Not feeling very good about yourself.
Pardon me?
Not feeling very good about yourself.
You think everything's lost, nobody cares about you. And going back to the jokes, and I don't know if Joe got depressed or not. Maybe he did. But can you imagine being in a state of depression all the time? And you know, a lot of people that commit suicide, not everybody, but and do the drugs, they're depressed. And so they say, well, if I take the drugs, it'll help me. Or I'll just blow my brains out. There are people like that, you know. You got this thing going on in the schools, I don't know, up here, but it's called bullying. You know, kids making fun of each other and calling each other names. And sometimes that affects kids. You know, some kids don't even bother. They can care less. You know, there are kids out there that are bullied, and pretty soon they get so depressed, they hang themselves, that they commit suicide. That goes on in our school system today, even in the college system. You know, it's a shame, you know, we live in a world like that. Everybody, like that, everybody's different. Some people can handle that kind of stuff. You know, there's some people can't, and it really affects them. And they get so depressed, they get so discouraged that they see no way out. You know. And like I said before, and Brother Sevilla said, bad things are going to happen to us. When you get saved, you're an enemy to the devil. And he'll send out his henchmen to try to discourage you, make things worse, but God's there. Remember that. Whatever you go through this morning, whatever you're going to go through next week, remember God is there, and God will see you through. We just got to trust Him. And that's hard to do. That's so hard. It's easy to talk about, but when the situation arises, wow. You know, like going back when my wife died, it never even dawned on me. I said, well, no, she'll live to be 89 years old. She'll see her grandkids, but it happened. And I wasn't ready for it, you know, because it just happened like that. But I had to deal with it. You know, I had to deal with that situation. It took some time, but I overcame, through the help of God. If I didn't have God, there's no telling what I would have done. Maybe went on drugs, alcohol, who knows? But, thank God this morning that we have somebody that we can lean on. People, and there's nothing wrong with going to people for counseling. People can only help us so much. People can encourage us and give us good advice. But God, we have to lean on God this morning. Because God knows everything. And God will help us. If we trust Him. If we just give our emotions over to God. But like I said, it's hard to do that. We never know what we're going to do until we're put in that situation. I mean, if you was like Job and had lost everything, how would you feel this morning? What a bummer, right? If you lost everything, think how you would have felt. And I know the Bible says God will never put us through no more than we can go through. Sometimes I wonder, wow. How much, and that's another thing, is stress in life. We all have an amount of stress in our life. I know the doctor said, well, if you got a lot of stress, you're going to have high blood pressure. And stress can be bad, and stress can be good. If you're stressed for time, sometimes you can perform better on your job, But too much stress is bad for you. Make your blood pressure go up. All kinds of things can go wrong for you. What about self-pity? You ever felt sorry for yourself? Sorry for yourself? Anybody besides me? Back to the Job syndrome. I imagine Job felt sorry for himself. But I try to look at life this way. No matter what you're going through, there's got to be somebody out there going through 10 times worse than you're going through. When I lost my wife, at least my kids were growing up and gone out of the house. There was another man that was teaching school, and his wife had died. He had 3 little kids to raise in elementary school. His wife just died one day. I said, wow. And I don't even know if the man was a Christian or not. So next time you're going through a battle in life, just remember there's always somebody out there got worse off than you are. Don't throw a self-pity party for yourself. Because you start doing that, and that leads to discouragement. Before long, it leads to depression. When people go to a wedding, everybody's happy, right? You ever seen anybody sad at a wedding? Everybody's happy. You go to a funeral, but ain't nobody's laughing. Everybody's kind of, sad, mourning. You go to a ball game, everybody's hollering and shouting, and of course if your team's not winning, you're not too happy. So life is full of emotions. Every day we go through things, and our emotions tell us what to do or what not to do. It's like I said, you got to think before you act. I don't think animals have emotion. I think animals have instincts. I don't think an animal can give love. I don't know. I don't believe animals have emotions. Anybody believe animals have emotions? Do you think animals have? I think you could be right. So anyway, what about the emotion of pride? Anybody ever felt proud? The devil, when God created the angels, Satan, he gave emotions. You know, they just weren't robots up there in heaven. You know, they had emotions. And one day, the devil thought, hey, I don't like this deal. I'm second in command. I want to be the big cheese. And so what did he do? He got proud. He wanted to take over. So what did he do? He rebelled against God and took some of the angels with him. So the devil don't have any good emotions, let me tell you that. The devil don't know how to love. He's full of hate, greed, jealousy, all bad emotions. The devil has them. Trust me, he does. And he'll do his best to try to drag you down with him. Because, like I said, once you get saved, the devil's going to see to it that he'll try to discourage you. He'll try to get you depressed. And eventually you say, well, what's the use? What's the use? And you just give up. What about the emotion of hope? We can all hope for something. You know, sometimes it don't come to pass, but we got to have a vision. You know, the Bible says without a vision the people perish. So you have to have hope for something, you know. Like the specific prophet was saying, you pray for what, your son or your daughter for all those years and finally got saved, you know. You just can't give up on people. You always got to have that hope that somewhere they're going to get saved, you know. So don't ever give up on your loved ones that are not saved, that, you know, just keep hanging in there and keep praying, and eventually they'll come around. What's maybe another emotion that we face in our lives that we haven't?
I definitely dealt with selfishness a lot. I was a very selfish person, so I'm still actually dealing with that to a certain point, you know.
Was your mother selfish? And did you
No.
learn that from? Okay, you just, okay.
It was just my lifestyle. My lifestyle, that's what made me selfish.
I think all of us are kind of selfish in some things. I'm not saying all things, but, you know, sometimes when your parents are like that, the kids end up being like the parents, you know. Not all the time, but a lot of time. If your parents are the loving type of parents, you know, you'll grow up and have a good relationship. But if your parents are hateful, despicable, there's a good chance, unless you get to church, you'll be just like them. You know, there's a saying, if you sleep with a dog, you get fleas. You know? If you run, like Brother Seville was saying, if you run with the wrong type of people long enough, you become just like them.
That's right.
You know, you become just like them. You know? So it's important this morning that we guard our emotions. Sometimes we wish they would go away, but they don't. You can't regress your emotions. They're always going to be there. You know, you just can't think them away. They're always going to be there every day in your life. You know, they're going to be there, and you've got to learn to deal with them. Anybody else want to have anything to say? May I have to cover? Like I said, there's a lot we can talk about emotions this morning. Anybody else have anything they want to share about emotions?
you've gone through and you've overcome in your life. I know a couple back in Indiana, well, no, they're not from Indiana, they're from Florida. And they somehow they got away from the Lord. They had 3 kids, and they ended up getting a divorce. And their kids going through all these different types of emotions now because they don't know how to handle it. You know, they don't say, well, how come you left? How come mommy don't love daddy? And it's so hard on kids, you know. I feel sorry for people like that have kids that are separated. And the kids have to deal with that, you know. And sometimes they can never get over it. I don't know if you read the paper last week. This woman, I think she was from Harrisburg. She dropped 2 kids off from school and never came back. And 11 years later, she shows up, not here in Harrisburg, but I guess she got so far down. She was living in tents and everything, and she finally got hold of her sister, and now her daughter is 19, doesn't want nothing to do with her. She said, I spent all these years trying, thought my mother was dead, and she never bothered to contact us. And now her own daughter don't want nothing to do with her. You know, after 11 years, the woman decided, hey, I'm going to come back. Now, I think she's going to live with her sister, but the girl, no. She never bothered to contact us. I spent all this time, you know, worrying about her now and find out that she's alive. You know, that's something she'll have to deal with. And just like this guy that had this bombing in Boston, they can't even bury the guy because everybody hates us. The guy's dead, and they say, well, you can't bury him here, so there's so much hate there. You know, we live in a world full of hate today. You know, and there's some people that wouldn't think twice to kill you, wouldn't even bother them, you know. Have no emotion whatsoever. They'll just kill you if you look at them wrong, you know. And there are people like that out there that just can care less about human dignity or anything, that they just do anything they can just to get ahead in life, you know. But, you know, we got Jesus Christ this morning. You know, God can help us with our emotions, with everything. We just got to trust Him. Because life is no mountaintop experience. You got to go in the valleys sometimes, you know. And it's in the valleys that we meet God a lot, you know. If we never had problems, if everything was our way, we'd probably never trust God for nothing. You know, so that's just part of life. And we got to learn to deal with it, whether we like it or not. Anybody else want to say something? Before I close? Anybody have any comment? All right. Now, thank you for listening to me. We've all learned something this morning. Remember our nursing home ministry this afternoon. What time is it? 2 o'clock.